Coming up at 11, cleanup and repair efforts are underway in eastern Kentucky.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Amelia Lee. As flood recovery efforts continue throughout many Kentucky counties, one group of people in Leslie County say they're not asking to be rescued. WKYT's Madison Carmouche talked to county officials who are making sure people get what they need and explains what exactly that need is.
We're in this for the long term.
John Newell is the District 4 magistrate for Leslie County and says when water rises due to the closure of the Buckhorn Dam, that is when the phone calls begin.
I'll call them back. What I've tried to do is get my people in my community and my district to call me, and that way I can relay it onto these other guys, the Fish and Wildlife.
Sergeant Homer Pigman is with Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife and says there are nearly 50 families they can only access by boat because of the water levels.
26 years I've been here about 5 times, so about every 4 or 5 years this occurs. And these folks, they know that this is going to happen, that the roads are going to get cut off when the dam is shut and the backwaters start backing up in here.
Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife is not alone in completing welfare checks. Agencies from other states like Indiana Conservation Officers and Asheville, North Carolina Fire Department are lending a helping hand.
And have this group come up from Asheville, North Carolina, knowing what they went through, and have them come up here and help. I've been in this county 53 years, and this is the most help we've had.
One of those helpers is Indiana Conservation Officer David Moss, who says he jumped at the opportunity to help his Kentucky neighbors.
Being out here doing God's work and helping these people, being able to help another person is just very rewarding in itself. So, I mean.
In Leslie County, Madison Carmouche, WKYT.
Newell says electricity for people in his district is back on, but he will keep in touch with people as the cold weather rolls in.
We are now seeing snow push across eastern Kentucky. Here's the latest with live pinpoint Doppler radar, and you can see some of the dark blues over towards Hazard as well as Jackson, north of Pikeville, over towards, let's say, north of London, going into portions of Rockcastle County. Now, some of this is not hitting the ground, especially towards the London Corbin Airport area. You can see right now, nothing is hitting the ground. If you go over towards Jackson, you can kind of see the snow flying a little bit on the Kentucky Mesonet camera there. So some of this is being picked up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, but it's not hitting the ground. So here's a satellite and radar, and you can see that line of showers and snow pushing into eastern Kentucky. This will be the trend as we go into the overnight hours into the day on Wednesday. And temperatures right now in the 20s and 30s, mid-20s towards Somerset as well as Monticello, 19 already in Moorhead, 25 in Louisa. We'll drop down to 17 tonight. We'll keep the snow chance in the forecast overnight and throughout the day on Wednesday. We'll get a little bit of a break and then another small chance Thursday morning. We'll plot everything out with Future View coming up in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Amelia.
All right, thank you, Eric. Well, officials are describing a mudslide in Letcher County as massive and a major issue, making it a top priority for cleanup. Residents in Fleming Neon experienced excessive flooding in their homes Monday morning after the mudslide blocked the creek for flowing water. A homeowner who was in his home when the incident happened said it sounded like a car crash. When he stood up to see what had happened, he felt his house shift.
And as I was getting up off my couch to actually go outside, my whole house just moved over, about 2 foot, 1.5 foot area.
The Kentucky State Transportation Cabinet, Fleming Neon Mayor, and Letcher County Judge Executive were all at the scene to assess the damage. The mayor says the people affected by the mudslide will be a priority. Thankfully, no one was reported injured. Cleanup and repair efforts are underway today in Knott County as well, following this weekend's flooding. But tonight's forecast is creating yet another challenge. Alyssa Williams checked in with residents and emergency management to see how they're preparing.
Hindman in Knott County is all too familiar with flood destruction. Shelley Ratliff with the home health agency Comfort Hills says they're still reeling over 2022's flood.
We lost everything here, computers, everything. And we lost one of our clients in the last flood.
Floodwater made its way into their building once again, but it was a much easier cleanup this time around.
It's not been like a lot of people, you know, a lot of people's had a lot worse. So we're just glad it didn't destroy us this time.
The company cares for folks throughout the area with disabilities, ensuring they have everything they need for their day-to-day lives. But flooding has made it difficult to reach clients, and incoming winter weather is raising even more concerns.
We're trying to get all their stuff together and make sure they have all their medications and their groceries in, and that we have workers that can stay there until till the mess is over, till the snow goes away, because you have to have somebody with them at all times.
But getting to people safely is not only a concern for the staff at Comfort Hills, but it may also be an issue for Knott County Emergency Management. The county's EM Director James Sandlin says there are still more than 40 impassable roads across the county, and any snow on top of that is just going to make things harder for road crews.
It's basically going to shut down our road cleanup. We'll have to go back to scraping roads, trying to open up from ice conditions and salting roadways, instead of moving mudslides and gravel and flood mud and all that.
Sandlin says there are still 265 people without power and around 500 without water, and the snow may make things worse. So if you can get out to get the things you need, Sandlin says to do that now. In Knott County, Alyssa Williams, WKYT.
Today was the second full day of cleanup in Pikeville, hit hard by the weekend's flooding. Student athletes with Pikeville High School are volunteering their time to help out their community during this time of need. Football coach Crick McNamee has been hauling players and making stops across town, assisting with cleanup.
It's just something you got to do for your community. I mean, you should love the people around you.
I'm just really proud of them, and they come from good families who've taught them right, and B, they're learning the lesson of helping your neighbor and being servants.
Their school took in close to half a foot of water. The superintendent says they're hoping to be able to reopen Pikeville High School in a couple of weeks. Many communities in Pike County are still reeling from the devastation of the weekend floods. First responders in the Marrowbone area say their community was one of many impacted by floodwater, with roadways broken, water levels destroying properties, and homes hit hard. Marrowbone Fire Chief Clinard Adkins says it's going to be a long road to recovery, urging the community to stay together and stay safe with more weather on the way.
It's just been terrible for the people, and then this cold weather coming in on top of us, it's just a big cleanup process. It's going to take a while to get done.
The Marrowbone Fire Department is open as a community outreach center with emergency supplies coming in daily. Appalachian Regional Healthcare launched a relief drive in response to the recent flooding. I spoke with those instrumental in flood relief efforts about what they're asking for. Heartwarming.
I'm very proud to be part of an organization that helps support the community and helps support the people of my community.
And heartbreaking.
It's tough. I mean, it's tough to see my employees or the people in the community that's happened to have the need.
A situation that is all too similar to the July 2022 flood. Appalachian Regional Healthcare opened its distribution center during that flood, then continued to help North Carolina after the effects of Hurricane Helene, and now coming together once again for the Commonwealth.
It's sad to know that our region has been hit hard again, but it's also very comforting to know that there are so many people that are bringing supplies to us from all over.
Asking for donations of non-perishable food items and so much more.
Water, we are very limited on water right now, so that is definitely a need. Basic supplies.
Still in the beginning stages of collecting items, as some folks walk in bringing donations.
We are just here to take in any supplies that we can and get those out to the people that are affected.
If you are able to help, officials with ARH say you can go to their donation centers in Hazard, Prestonsburg, and Lexington.
We're here for the community. I mean, we've had over 70 employees staying in our hospital overnight for the past few nights to help provide. It's just a tough time.
WYMT and our sister station WKYT are partnering with ARH. We have more information on the flood relief drive on our website, WYMT.com. Well, flood cleanup efforts in Perry County continue. One family says floodwaters have never touched their home before, and it's been a safe place for their family for decades, until now. The floodwaters that rushed through did not just take their belongings, they took pieces of their past. And now, with the help of volunteers, the family is trying to salvage what little is left. Jama Griffith lives there and says it will be a tough path going forward.
Everything's gone. I mean, cabinets, all the furniture, everything was just submerged. HVAC unit. And then when you start thinking about days ahead, you start thinking about once we start rebuilding, we have to have stoves, refrigerator. I mean, it's just like a continued list, but the hardest part is probably the memories.
But even in the wreckage, they are not alone. Volunteers, neighbors, and friends have stepped in, helping clear what's left and start the long road ahead of rebuilding.